Hey guys, I want to talk a little bit about persuasion versus manipulation, specifically as it comes to dog training. This is something I've thought about for a long time. It all started a few years ago when I was having a conversation with a trainer who was using a training approach that I felt was unfair to the dog and sort of crappy. So I said to him, "You're not training, you're manipulating." And he goes, "Dude, we're always all manipulating dogs. That's what we do." And I went, I don't know. Is there a difference between manipulation and persuasion? He goes, I don't know. You tell me. And I said, I think there is. He goes, well, then what is it? And that's where I ran into a bit of a sticking point because I couldn't quite say what the difference was. I knew there was one, and I knew I kind of felt like I could tell the difference between the two. But what is that difference? And so I spent a lot of time thinking about it. And here's kind of where I've come to land on this. The first thing most people say, well, it's consent. Is the dog or the person a participant in the process? Are they consenting to, are you changing their mind or are you forcing them to do something? That's the difference between coercion and persuasion, perhaps. I don't think it's necessarily manipulative. So in other words, like if I have a dog who's reactive and when he sees skateboards and I start walking him by skateboards and giving him food, am I manipulating him? Like, is that, there's no consent, but I know it doesn't feel like manipulation. That feels like I'm helping them out, right? That feels good to me. That feels healthy. That feels like it's a conversation in a sense, even though the dog doesn't choose to feel better when he sees the skateboard, it just starts happening to him. Anything that's in the classical conditioning realm is, by definition, sort of done without the dog's uh, or even really knowledge. It's just something that happens. So I don't think that's really gets us off the hook. Uh, but here's what I think does. Um, think about there are certain sales techniques that people will use that uh, really are sort of deceptive and designed to pressure you to make a choice that you're not ready to make. Like, oh, this deal's only good for the next 5 minutes or the next 5 hours. Or you go to the car dealership and you make an offer and the guy goes, let me go check with my boss. And he walks out of the room and he goes upstairs. And, the truth is that he's almost never consulting with anybody. Because they know what the lowest number they can take for that car is. They have those instructions. But what they do is they sit and they make you wait. And why do they do that? The longer you sit there, the more invested you are in the process. I was here for 3 hours and I walked away with nothing. You don't want to do that. The longer you sit, the more you want to get something for that time. So that is a way to sort of trick you into creating pressure on yourself. That's manipulative. That's not persuasive. That's manipulative. It's totally uh, disrespectful of you and your goals. It's something completely different, right? So that is, I think, a big deal. But let's take another example. Let's say there's somebody comes in and they need to get their dog trained and they're struggling with something, and I know I can help them. I know that their problems aren't as bad as they think they are, but they're overwhelmed with doubt. They're overwhelmed with fear and insecurity. They think their dog is more dangerous than he is, or whatever. Now I have to have a conversation with them, and I have to say, "Hey, listen, I can help you. And here's why. Here's why your dog's not as dangerous as you think he is. Here's what we've done. I might throw, a handful of similar dogs that I've done. I have a conversation with them, but I also might do other things. Like I might be aware of, the eye contact I use when I'm speaking with them, be aware of my body language, say things that make them feel more comfortable. Um, I may be watching them for signs that they're getting stressed and going, okay, I'll back up from that and I'll take a different approach. Those are all tools of persuasion. Some of those are done with, the owner is going to be aware of them and some of them are not. So what's the difference? Why is in the one case you're being kind of crappy, in the other case you're being responsible and persuasive? And I think it comes down to this. When I am manipulating somebody, that person's beliefs, that person's behavior, or that dog's behavior are obstacles to me. They are in my way, and I am trying to move them out of my way for my sake. If you hire me to train your dog and the dog's not getting trained, the fact the dog isn't getting trained is the obstacle, and I have to solve that. I have to move the dog out of my way. The dog's in my way, and I'm trying to move them. That leads to manipulation. But if I think of it in terms of the dog is in his own way, I know that we can help this dog, or the owner's in their own way. We know we can help this owner, but their doubts and fears and insecurities are standing in their way, and I can help them get over it. So persuasion gets the dog out of their own way. Manipulation gets the dog out of your way. All right. So that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.